What's up, Vault Hunters? It's Echo here, Queen of the Loot Goblins, bringing you another Borderlands 3 video. As most of you know, the Immortal AMARA was a big hit, so I wanted to bring you its counterpart. This is a phase cast or slam build, and it's still focused around the Golden Rule comm and the potential it has. This build puts out some serious damage, and it's 100% an all-around build. I have tested this in the Circle of Slaughter, all of the trials, the takedown, and killing bosses. This build can literally do it all. This build is Super Saiyan AMARA. Alright guys, now we're going to get into the skill trees. I'm going to be going through them rather quickly and explaining why I use certain skills a little bit later on in the video. Starting off with the blue tree, we're going to put 3 points into do harm. We're going to be maxing out fast hands because I love the reload speed, the weapon swap speed, and the mode switch speed. We're going to be maxing out transcend for the critical hit damage and the accuracy. We're going to be maxing out Restless to get our action skill cooldown faster. We're going to be maxing out Ascendant. We are going to be maxing out Laid Bare, maxing out Wrath, and maxing out From Rest. We're going to be putting 1 point into Remnant. And this is not for the homing projectile. This is for the overkill damage that's added to the projectile's damage. It ends up being quite a lot. And it's worth the point. And then we're going to go down to the capstone and max out Avatar. And while we're in this tree, we are going to be using phase cast. So we're going to use Soul Sap for heals. And we're also going to be using Tandava. Moving on to our red tree, we are going to be maxing out Anima. And we're going to be maxing out Tempest for the elemental damage that those bring us. Moving on to the green tree, we're going to be maxing out Personal Space. We're going to be putting 4 points into Root to Rise. Maxing out Samsara, again for heals. And 2 points into Helping Hands. And I like to use fire damage for my action skill element, but depending on who you're fighting, you can always switch to corrosive or just use shock. Normally with our AMARA builds, we use sustainment as our life support, but with this Super Saiyan AMARA build, we aren't speccing into the red tree. So it had me thinking, how can I give this build survivability, tankiness, and put out massive damage? Well, I came up with this healing system that coincides really well together and does all of that. Let's start at the beginning. I'll try to break this down as easily as possible. First, this build was built around the ability to spam our action skill, so why not get heals from it every time we activate it? The Golden Rule, the skill Restless, and our blue tree capstone avatar allows us to spam our action skill continuously. By doing this, we not only have our gun anointments always procced, but we also heal from it too. Choosing Soul Sap as our action skill augment allows us to lifesteal 30% of our action skill damage dealt. Then putting a point into Ascendant gives us an additional 20% lifesteal. So now we are getting 50% lifesteal just from damaging enemies with our action skill. Now, the more damage we do, the more heals we're going to get. So I specced into Do Harm, which gives us an increased damage to our action skill just by killing an enemy. In short, we are always spamming our action skill, therefore always getting heals. If that's not enough heals for you, don't worry, there's more. In the green tree, we specced into Samsara. To activate this skill, all we are doing is spamming our action skill. By doing this, we gain increased gun damage and health regeneration. This skill also stacks, with it capping at 5 stacks. With all of these heals, this allows us to face tank 3-bar tinks in any Mayhem 4 mode.
I know there was another flying ball. There you are. Oh, another one? Alright. No, you don't get to do that to me. Imminent death 100%, he said.
The damage is coming from spamming our action skill, of course. I wanted to make this build as easy to use as possible. We've established how we heal with it, now let's establish how we kill with it. Before we get into how our skills help us, I wanted to point out that we get a massive increase in damage just from our gun anointments. 250% increase in damage after phase cast is what I love to use, but feel free to use 300% increase after slam, or even the 100% damage increase after using your action skill. Any of these will work just fine. One of the skills we get a ton of damage from is Transcend. When maxed out, Transcend gives us 30% accuracy and 27% critical hit damage, just from activating our action skill. And as we've gone over, we are able to spam our action skill. This skill stacks, and when you're in a fight, you keep Transcend at ×2 or ×3, giving you a critical hit damage increase of 81%. That alone is a big boost. The next skill we receive damage from is Laid Bare. With Laid Bare, enemies that are damaged by your action skill take an increase in damage of 25%. If you have a golden rule with +3 in Laid Bare, that number increases to 50%, which is great for bossing or tanky badasses. Moving on to another skill called Wrath. AMARA gains increased gun damage. This effect is increased after she activates her action skill. Since we are spamming our action skill continuously, we are always gaining an increased gun damage of 40% all the time. I'm not going to get into Anima or Tempest that much, just that we gain massive amounts of elemental damage just by maxing them out. And let's not forget about Samsara and the 25% gun damage increase just from that. This build is based on the Golden Rule, so let's start with that. The Golden Rule in particular that you're looking for is one with +3 in Laid Bare, and the rest in Helping Hands. If you can only find with +2, not to worry, that will work just fine. You don't really need speed in this build, so mindfulness really won't help you. That being said, don't limit yourself to just one comm. I use several depending what I'm doing. For instance, the main one I use has SMG, shotgun damage, and action skill cooldown. But if I'm using the Maggie, I have a comm for that in particular. If I'm using my assault rifle, I have one for that. I even have one with heavy weapon damage, splash damage radius, and weapon charge speed for when I'm bossing and using a rocket launcher. So remember, you don't have to limit yourself. The two shields I like to use are the Transformer or the Recharger with an elemental bonus for the anointment. As far as nades go, you're not going to be really throwing nades, so just find one with an elemental bonus for the anointment. I use the Piss for the 20% debuff on enemies. And for your artifact, I like to use the Last Stand Auto Idol. You want one with action skill cooldown, but it's not necessary. The Last Stand Auto Idol is also good for healing, because it restores 18% of your max health after killing an enemy, and also you're temporarily invulnerable when your health drops below 50%. Can you boss with this?
Nah.
You tell me.
Work. That's just too much. We'll just do that. We're not damaged by shock, but I'm just gonna kill them. We hit our number. Oh! What? What? That was 11 mil. Where is the damage number? Oh, it's still there. 11? We weren't even damaged by shock. We weren't even damaged by shock. We hit 11.
I told you guys this build can literally do anything. This is the Super Saiyan Amara build. You can boss with it, you can farm with it, you can do the Circle of Slaughter with it, you can do the takedown with it. Literally anything. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I am live most nights. Twitch.tv/JadedEcho_. That's going to do it for this video. I'm going to leave you with some kick-ass gameplay. And always, happy looting. Peace out.
Commitment crumbles. I can't believe